Hello guys, and how's it going? Today's video I'll be comparing the Livid Dagger and Valkyrie. I know this is not a fair comparison. I'm just gonna talk about the facts that what makes each sword better on what situations. Most of you guys know that Livid Dagger was my primary weapon since it came out, and I used it till the string nerf. Then it became, well, not enough. So I got a Valkyrie instead and used it for a week, and now I'll be comparing these like I did in the Livid Dagger versus Shadow Fury video. But before we get in, I would really appreciate if you could take a few seconds to hit the subscribe button. Okay, now let's get into it. Okay, starting with the base stats. One thing I love about Livid Dagger is that you never have to worry about the attack speed because it gives 100% of that. Also, crit chance. Giving crit chance was very important at the start because I didn't always had 100% crit chance, but now I do, so it's not a deal breaker for me, but it could for you. And on the Valkyrie side, it has a 60 base ferocity. I have Vicious 5, so it adds 5 more ferocity, so yeah. Which is so much more better than you think it could be, trust me. But rather than that, Valkyrie is like, well, just a little bit better, I would say. Like 100 damage and like 130 strength. Oh, that's a lot. But will that make any difference? Not that much. In fact, with Livid Dagger, you could deal more damage than the Valkyrie. As you know, it has the ability, if you hit the target from its back, you'll deal 2 times the damage. It has 100% attack speed, so you basically double your damage if you click fast enough. It's a really OP sword, so don't judge it by its stats. It's really good. Speaking of the abilities, Livid Dagger has the throwing ability, which should come in handy on very few situations. On the other hand, Valkyrie has 3 separate abilities that could be bought and combined all together and makes it one better ability, Wither Impact. This ability, as you may know, is pretty good for clearing rooms in dungeons. But it's not always about dungeons. That's why I'm using a Valkyrie, not Hyperion. Hyperion is pretty much trash in my opinion. Anyways, we'll get to that in another video. This ability used to not give the combat XP from the monsters you kill with it, but now, fortunately, it does. So this makes the ability like 100% better in my opinion. So in our world, with fishing, killing normal monsters and etc., you may not need that much damage, but you may need the attack speed and crit chance, especially if you are a starter. You wouldn't have to reforge your talismans to crit chance or attack speed, so that's always better. So Livid Dagger wins in this situation. In earlier floors, Valkyrie might be a little too much, as from my experience. Even when I'm doing floor 6 and as a mage, and I don't even have a storm set and wither goggles, BTW, I'm just using the Necron set, it kills all the monsters on one hit. So it's a bit unnecessary to have the Valkyrie to do floor 1 to 5. Or maybe 6, I'm not too sure. I guess if you want to. But let me tell you the good sides about it. Because the ferocity on the sword also multiplies, I'm getting over 100 ferocity. And because I don't have the usual mage setup, I usually go left click mage. And that way, even when you hit your target in 1-2 blocks, you deal damage because of the ferocity deals damage to them. If you didn't know, left click mage won't work if you're hitting your target from that close. But because I have ferocity, I'm being able to kill everything from every range, and that's just awesome. Oh, this is a profit. Yay! I made 10k profit. 3 dragons. Well, I never tried both on dragons, but from what I've been told, because there's a damage limit when you're doing dragons, ferocity is the way to do them. So with Valkyrie and Tiger Pet and a werewolf setup, you could deal a lot of damage to the dragon and be on the top of the damage list. This is all I have to say about the dragons. I'm not gonna do dragon because I'm broke right now. Yeah. For most of the slayers, you wouldn't need these two swords. Maybe these swords will be too much, maybe they will be too less. But for like all the slayers except Enderman and tier 5 Revenants, and maybe even tier 4 Sven, you could use your Livid Dagger. That would be more than enough. Honestly, you can also do tier 4 Sven with your Livid Dagger. It's just I'm using Sorrow with Swens, and I had died a lot with Livid Dagger because it wasn't enough. For Enderman Slayer, well, you can't use your Livid Dagger, that's for sure, but Valkyrie might come in handy. Its ferocity won't be enough for Enderman Slayer, but the Wither Shield ability will provide you more survivability because goddamn Slayer is just too hard. Okay, so overall, you will decide which one is the best for you. But let me tell you about my opinion. Obviously, not all of you can afford a Valkyrie. And I'm not trying to be mean here. It's just one of those swords is 7 million and the other one is 700 million. Don't blame me, blame the economy. Honestly, if you're an early game player or a mid game player or even a late game player, Livid Dagger should be fine. But if you are feeling like your damage is not enough, maybe you could try other swords. But Livid Dagger was my favorite weapon when I was an early to mid game player. I just stopped using it recently, so maybe even as a late game player, end game player. Yeah, I never tried other swords. Maybe I should have. I just used it for so long. And now it's time for the Valkyrie.